Before we start, there's a little favor we're going to ask for.
If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, hit that follow.
It is completely free and it tells the platform to show the podcast to more visual novel fans.
That support keeps the lights on and the episodes coming.
It is the only way we can keep doing what we do. Thank you for being here. Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. I am Lover's Lens.
And I'm Morig. Today we're joined by God's Radio dev team, Skai, Pyr, and Jinn. Thank you for being here.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, thanks for having
Hi, it's good to be back. Yeah, it's good to be back over here.
So, we already know Skai from the previous episode about Let's Misbehave, but for our newer listeners, please introduce yourself and maybe tell us a bit about your role in Meteor Shower, because I believe that you did a lot of stuff there.
Okay, so hi, I've been here before. I'm Sky again, and this time I'm talking about a game that I made with my friends from high school, actually, Jinn and Pyr, and we grew up together, and it's only fitting that we'd start off our game-making endeavors making a game that is set in high school. So, Meteor Shower is a little passion project that we had, although honestly, it's not the first project that we intended to make. But we're using the same characters. It was supposed to be our test run, but it got kind of out of hand, like most things that we do. But I do believe that for the sequel, eventually, which was the original game that we had planned, it would be really good sort of foundation laying for the issues that these characters are going to have as adults. Because right now they're kids, and right now we're focusing on them being kids and just like reliving that nice youthful experience with Meteor Shower.
So we have another beautiful story about friends creating stuff together. That's amazing. I love this. Like, the whole community has a lot of this.
Yeah, it's been awesome having to do stuff with friends and like meeting people too in the community. Like Pyr, actually, I mean, I mentioned Pyr in the last podcast in Let's Misbehave, and he made the music for it. So like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
small
I
world.
remember. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
small world. Definitely. And what about Pyr and Jinn? Can you please introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Hi, I'm Pyr or Pyr. I don't really care what people, how people say my name. It's Pyr, and I made the music for Meteor Shower. Previously, I was mentioned in the previous podcast for Let's Misbehave, and now I'm included in God's Radio dev team, and my main role in this game is the music producer, composer, and I also do some of the audio work that's included in this game, and I guess a little bit of marketing as well.
Yeah, everyone does a little bit of marketing, I guess. It's that
Sadly.
little bit of
It's
thing
like the
that you
sad
have to
truth
do.
that we do. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, he's the only one in the team who is actually passionate about marketing.
It's not that I'm passionate about marketing. It's more of usually this is a side thing. When the music is done, usually I have spare time to do other things like marketing. So I try to step up and do as much as I can to feel a little bit more included.
Well, it is extremely important after all, because no one hears about your game without the marketing.
Yep. Unfortunately, it's the most important part. Like, if you don't do the marketing right, nobody's gonna hear about your project, and it's just not gonna work. So, you're doing God's work there. Thank you for that. Thank you for marketing your game the proper way, giving the time for that. This is nice. I know your struggle.
Definitely.
I know your struggle. Like, I feel you.
And Jinn, what about you?
Hi, I'm Jinn, and I do a lot of the writing. That's pretty much what I do. I always just keep writing day in and day out. What is it? Whenever I'm not writing, I do try to help the memes for the marketing. We all do a little marketing.
Yeah, no, it's not that they're mainly the content for the marketing. They make all the memes and I do the postings. They're the brains, I'm the legwork, if that makes sense.
I mean, you kind of give us ideas too. It's like I'm kind of an old lady sometimes. I don't really keep up with pop culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. I get you here. But in marketing, there's a person who makes the visuals and the person who makes the copy and the person who posts everything. So there's a lot of stuff happening. Like, it's not an easy job, and like everyone should take part in it.
And it makes sense for the writer to be the one with the sense of humor to make the memes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Jinn is really funny. I love her writing. She's really, really funny.
Thank you.
Like, a lot of the jokes in Meteor Shower were just like her, me, and Pyr in like chat, just riffing on each other and shit posting and talking about old high school memories and stuff, and like making jokes out of ourselves, out of people we used to know, out of celebrities even. Like, it's just a lot of gossip. We talk about the characters, we brainstorm about the characters like they're people we know. We gossip about them essentially, and we just snap our asses off every time.
So, have you been in high school together?
Yeah. What would it be?
Yeah.
Middle school? It would be a
Pretty
probably
much.
middle school.
It would
We were.
be- it would
Can
be-
I
yeah,
drop the
we-
age? We were around.
I've told everybody I'm 25. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we were
Okay.
around 12 when we met. We're all around 25, 26.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
It's been
quite
more
some
than a
time.
decade. Yeah.
Yeah, like they say that if a friendship lasts more than 7 years, it will probably last a lifetime. So I guess you're a nice
100%.
team. Yeah,
God, I
Yeah,
hope so.
I'm stuck
that's
with
very
these people.
beautiful.
Yeah.
We have content to last like 5, 10 more years probably.
That's what I like to hear. Perfect.
Probably 20. I'm gonna be so fucking honest.
Yes,
For
let's go.
Let's not forget you probably get new ideas in the meanwhile.
It's a lot.
Well, we're on the topic of content, and I want to ask, for folks who are new to Meteor Shower, could you give us a brief overview of the game?
Okay, so I guess I should take this one. So I just remembered that earlier I forgot to say what my actual role was in the game. So I am a writer alongside Jinn. I made all the art, the UI. I programmed the game. I wrote one song for the game. I basically, boils down to the director. You can just like boil it all down to the director. So the game essentially is, I can boil it down for people who haven't read it, as like, imagine like the good girl bad boy trope, but if the good girl isn't like that stuck up. Like, Laurie's pretty stuck up, but she's not, like, she can be fun, like an actual teenager. And if the bad boy isn't abusive, he's just kind of awkward and funny,
Yeah, it's like a kind of like a teen. I want to say coming of age kind of film.
Teen
yeah,
romance,
teen.
basically.
Yeah, teen. Actually, we'd say it's more accurate to say it's a rom-com, right? Like, we
It is
did
a rom-com.
intentionally make it funny.
Yeah, it feels like a rom-com. That's how I would describe it. That's how I would describe your game. So, just to drop a quick housekeeping for the players, you made a huge update to your demo. It's called the Falling Stars update, and it's the rebuild demo for the game Meteor Shower. We are talking about 88,000 words, wow, with about 4 to 6 hours of solid gameplay, 11 original backgrounds, 20 CGs, and 12 unique sprites with variations like emotions, like this one I really liked, by the way, and an original soundtrack, and of course the love interest. The sole one love interest for this game. So, let's continue with the story and the characters and dive a little bit deeper into the details of the Meteor Shower game.
So, you guys, what core tension drives Lori? On paper, she's the perfect straight-A student, also a council member at her school. She has supportive friends, adulting and demanding parents, but she's hungry for a bit of a change, she feels like she's a bit bored with what she has. Can you give us more insight in her?
I feel like I could take this. Whenever we wrote Lori, it just feels like, I guess a lot of girls in like media too are portrayed this way. Though when we wrote Lori, we didn't really intentionally reach into that like trope. But it feels like a lot of times, and I guess especially with like the school that we were in, it was a lot of like the good girl. Kind of like we were all kind of like fitting into the mold. And that's pretty much what Lori is too. And a struggle that we have as a team or from like lived experiences is like personal passions versus like societal like expectations or what your family kind of expects from you. And Meteor Shower kind of became that outlet, I would like to say, to express like those kinds of experiences. So with Laurie's like motivation or what drives her is to like break out of the mold, which happens when I guess she meets Taylor for the first time.
Yeah, because Lori is kind of... She's not what you typically expect from a student council member in media. She's a bit crooked. Like, she doesn't rat Taylor out, right? In the scene where she first meets him. Like, he had fucking weed on campus, and she was like, go home. I'm not gonna tell him. just
Honestly, would
go
have done
home.
the same, to be honest.
Mhm.
Right?
I feel like
Exactly,
no
and
one
it's like,
will tell.
right. No, me too. Because I was like, I was also kind of like in high school. We went to a school that was very, had kind of high expectations for us.
Pretty
So
prestigious, yeah.
yeah, so it was kind of like we met a lot of people who were supposed to be like smart. I guess you're supposed to be at the cream of the crop or whatever in other schools if they had just went to other schools, and we got to experience being normal students there. Students who were just kind of, struggling.
I'd say like think preppy school, right? There are those schools,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
What kind? Prep schools where like you
yeah.
have like an entrance exam to pass or like an interview to pass. Pretty much that kind of
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that kind of school, and then everybody was we kind of had like a baseline of like good grades for everybody across our batch and every batch because we had
Everyone
to maintain
was
grades
smart.
really high. Yeah, everyone was smart. Everyone was wanted to achieve something. So it's kind of like it was very easy for us to like not separate that trope of the smart person because like all of our classmates were smart, but like we also had smart students who were kind of, lazy. We had smart students
And then you
who
just
were
had
like
geniuses.
kind of weird, and we had straight geniuses that were like, what the fuck, dude, like you I cannot comprehend your brain, like
So
how
I
do you
guess-
understand physics?
Yeah, so I guess
I
that's
think that's what kind of separates Lori in that sense, because you see the environment that we grew up in. We had like a straight A students, but Lori, she's like, does she want this? It feels like she's doing a job, like because her parents are doting, parents are expecting something from her, and yet, what if she never really asked the question like, do I want something else from this life? But she's a teenager though. When you think about it, she
She has a lot of time to think about it.
and she's just exactly. She's just starting to think about these emotions, these desires that she have.
So she's put herself in this position because it's what she thought what it was expected of her, basically.
Yeah, it's
Pretty
the
much.
path of least resistance. It's like, your parents want you to be successful and smart, you get good grades and stuff, and she's like, yeah.
and
I
you
guess I'll do
follow
it.
To a
'cause it's like, yeah, I'll
degree.
do that. I can do that.
To a degree, it also feels like it's what she's used to, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's an extremely familiar thing. I've had parents that kind of wanted a lot from me. Ended up in a
it's the-
similar school as well.
The
But-
gifted kid burnout.
No, I was so middle of the road mediocre that it kind of disappeared in the background. Worked perfectly.
You put a bunch of like kind of like smarter gifted kids and like they're always like we all kind of become middle of the road though, right? That's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, it like honestly is somebody who comes from like a a school where we were kind of glorified for being smart. When you're an adult, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. Learn
Yeah.
that at university.
Honestly, turns out that grades that don't actually show that you're smarter than the others. It's just grades. Like, it doesn't make you smarter than the others. And and have bad grades. You can still be smart.
And this
Yeah.
no, I was gonna say like if you could be book smart, but like you could be like make totally bad decisions, which I think is like a flavor like Meteor Shower has, because you can like give like the player full range of what you do with like Lori, like a straight A student. Like sometimes I
Mhm.
feel
And yeah, she's kind of dumb.
Yeah,
And it's
dumb.
cute.
I was like
I think she was the dumbest with Cody. It was so funny. I
Before
We
love
we
actually
Cody.
have a question about them later
Yeah,
on.
before
you
we start talking about Cody, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the small town, the whole story set. We're talking about Seaview. It's like a coastal town. It feels very lived in with the corner stores and summer nights and school hallways. So how did you manage to make this Seaview little town feel like a place you can walk around? Is it like based on your own town, perhaps?
Honestly,
Can
just
we say?
vibes.
Can we actually say the inspiration for Seaview? Can the thing into Seaview, we were
Wait.
trying to emulate Florida.
We weren't trying to emulate Florida. It was kind of like
not
we. No, we weren't. We made Seaview already. I made a coastal town, and because so there's a sequel, right? We used to be working on a sequel for this, but like this became our first project instead, right? Where Lori's an adult and stuff like that. So she goes to. I'm not gonna spoil it, but like. Basically, she does, achieve her dreams of becoming a singer. And we were like, okay, so where could she live? Like, what kind of small town could she live? And we made a fictional small town. And honestly, I made Seaview that way because, like, I didn't want to draw several. I'm the only artist, right? I didn't want to draw several backgrounds where the seasons change. So I was like, let's set it like in a place that doesn't snow. Okay, let's not make it
Smart.
snow right now. So
That's genius.
Can I? But like, but the next project would be Snowfall.
No, yeah, exactly. So like they were somewhere else when that happened. Okay, it didn't
For
happen
somewhere
in
else. We had to change. We had to pivot. But
We had to pivot. But like,
but-
and me personally, I just really like coastal towns. I like it. I can really imagine it. It's very sensory for me. Like I can imagine the sound of like the sea, the sky. We live near the sea over here. Like all of us, yeah, we're from the Philippines.
I
we live
think-
in the
I
city.
think all of us do. We're just in different.
we live in this.
No, but we're. Wait, I
We
don't.
do.
But yeah, I think we all
Okay, I
experience
do.
living.
I
We live in the
do.
city. No, but when I was writing Meteor Shower, I was thinking about the old area from our school. That's why I drew like in
Yeah.
school for the cove, the coastal. What was that? The mall thing.
Yeah, coast town. Yes.
Okay. Now you're actually moving on to my next question without realizing, but I was about to ask you, did you base the game on real life experiences? Because you managed to build a perfect immersion into this whole high school vibe. Like I felt like I am in high school again while I played the demo.
By the way
Oh
you
my God.
described your own school, it sounds like it played a really, really big role in how you designed this one.
You
Mhm.
write
Yes,
from
it
experience. What was it? I have a lot of like memories back in high school, which I just really tried so hard to like depict in the writing. One of my favorite scenes or like gags that I did not know would blow up. I just wrote it in like a whim, was like the pencil scene where they just like don't do drugs.
Yeah, don't do drugs.
No.
Oh yeah, that was so fucking funny. I love that.
Drugs,
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 drugs.
drugs.
I was like the best reception of my life to like a 5-second gag that I thought of, and I'm just like,
I'm telling you, high schoolers are animals, especially high school boys. They're gorillas. I
You
can like
you
repeat
could
True.
just be minding your
drugs,
own
drugs,
business
drugs,
and
drugs.
then just like to the sides, drugs. What the fuck are you doing?
Chorus of boys always in the background. Even in a prep school, they're always
They're
doing
always
that.
lingering. Oh,
I feel like you had amazing time in high school. Like this is something that not everybody can say about their high school years.
I enjoyed.
I mean,
It was fun. I liked
yeah, I
friendship.
enjoyed high school. Yeah, there were definitely things we would not come back to, but like
Yeah, of course.
we had great
There's
memories.
things always like
You know, I still have nightmares about school, but never nightmares about university, so I'm not sure what that means.
it means
But,
you've been bullied, Morik, in school, not in
I know.
university. That's what it means.
College
Like
was
it
chill.
was in high
College-
school, not in university.
Okay, I was bullied in high school, so like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, me too. I think that I told you the story last time, or it wasn't like where I had to befriend the scariest metal. Like we used to call them the metals, like the guys who listened to metal music and they had like chains and leather and everything. So I had
That's
to
kind of
befriend-
hard. That's kind of
yeah.
hard.
I didn't.
It worked. It worked because he was scary, even though he was a sweetheart. He was
That's
scary. Nobody
that's
believed
so
me anymore.
smart though.
Oh. Yeah,
Mhm.
it is.
I wouldn't say I was bullied, but like boys are mean in high school. So you could be like minding your own business. There was one time, one of like well, how would I say it? I was in like I got separated from all of my other friends because I got into like, since we were all pretty smart, but I got herded into like the smarter people section, so I separated from them. And then the boys from that class are just so much meaner because they think they're just so much smarter. And one day I just got like
Mhm.
and I went to school wearing like, do you remember like when Supreme shirts were a thing? The white Supreme
Yes.
shirt. My sister got me one from like a trip.
Yeah, no.
One of the fucking boys went
Is
like,
that why they kept saying
Yeah.
Supreme?
it was such a horrible it was such a horrible experience that I did not wear that shirt that my sister so kindly gave me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to ditch a whole hobby for similar
Right? And
reasons.
it's like,
But depressing school stories aside, let's move on with the characters. So, without spoilers, Lori bumps into the town's so-called punk, Taylor Rose. What did you want players to question about the rumors surrounding him versus the reality of the character when you first encounter him?
Well, it's a trope, right?
Yep, it
So
is.
you kind of take one look at it and you go, "Oh, I know what this is all about," and you do, but also
I feel
you
like
don't. You know what I mean?
in my
Like-
head, when I
Yeah,
saw
go
that
on.
question, I was like, no, when I wrote that, it was like, no, we're confirming everything that happened. It is pretty much straight cut. However, the twist is, right? It's
Yeah,
it's like,
it's not.
It's not a
Yeah, we
subversion.
weren't looking at it as a twist. We're like,
yeah. It's like, I heard that he sells weed.
I don't know. Yeah, I
This
don't think we
guy-
set out. I don't.
This guy did some
think
bad
we set out
things.
to subvert it. Yeah, pretty much. We were like, no, I mean, we're not trying to sell Taylor as like this like sweetheart, this like bad boy with a heart of gold or like whatever. He's just kind of he's a
He's not
delinquent.
misunderstood.
You know, he's done some shit.
He's done
seen
some
some
of the
shit.
stuff, but however, I guess maybe not to the extent. Because I think we wrote some more exaggerated parts to contrast to it.
Yeah, like
However, they are
yeah,
right?
like people.
They blew it up.
Yeah, the rumors are real. Not all of them though. Like Taylor doesn't do ecstasy, like Scarlet thought he did.
There was a conversation about that.
He does drugs. But like whenever rumors start in high school, right? Whenever rumors start in high school, it's like they get like blown up into like certain aspects. So
Yeah.
for that, like see
Yeah, out of
yeah, it's out
proportion.
of proportion. But like they're true. He's not a good student. He is like a delinquent.
He's not. He barely goes to class. He like again. He brings weed to school. Like he brings alcohol to school. I'm pretty sure. So okay. So like we joke about this all the time, right? There was this guy
Oh.
that I met when I was 14.
Oh God, no.
Okay. Before I knew anything about the world. Okay, he was a really nice guy actually, but like everybody kind of didn't really expect him. Like, well, everybody kind of didn't expect good things of him because of, the way he presents himself, the way he carries himself and stuff like that. And we kind of lived in the same neighborhood at the time, and I didn't know how to commute yet. So my family just kind of asked him to accompany me to commute every now and again. And during those few times that we were commuting together, he was, teaching me public transportation and stuff. He kind of talked a little about his struggles, and it's like I gained empathy for the first time in my life. I'm like, this is the first time I'm actually talking to somebody like this. You know what I mean? Like, I was admittedly a pretty sheltered child, So, I don't know. And since then, like that idea, of this dude kind of just stayed with me, and it stayed with me in all of my writing, really. Like, because I generally I grew up with a pretty judgmental family, even if they do a lot of these things as well. They're not perfect people, but they do judge people. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like,
I get you perfectly.
yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like I just really wanted to become, like, ever since then, I just really wanted to become an open-minded person. Like, I never really judged him, but it was kind of like there's just like self-awareness of like, people have layers. Like, it was like an awakening moment when I was like younger, and ever since then I was kind of like obsessed with picking people apart, like, just like really watching them and like figuring out what makes them tick and understanding them, and I bring that to my writing, and I really wanted to bring that with Taylor. Like, yeah, like, he's exactly the kind of guy that you think he is, but, you dig a little deeper, and you see that, like, yeah, some of that shit is true, but that doesn't mean, he doesn't have feelings, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I feel like with Skai's take, that is like a lot of like the emotional turmoil or like inner workings of like Taylor's mind. However, I have a different story, like how to soften this guy up. I just made him extra dumb. It's like, you see like a person, and you ever like see a person on a bus stop, and you like think like, that guy is really scary, and then you come up and talk to him, and he's just like, there's like a resonance to someone that makes you think, oh, they sound kind of dumb. That is pretty much Taylor in a nutshell.
That's true. That's also true. I completely agree with that.
Someone opens their mouth and it's like, all that mystique just kind of flies away.
Oh, like, oh no,
Right?
yeah,
And
it's
it's
like,
like,
oh,
it's like
he's not
the glass
scary,
is
he's a
broken
himbo.
now. It's like, what you say? You say that?
And like, no, I do love how dumb we made Taylor. Like, it's so endearing. It does actually make him non-threatening.
You kind of talk to him.
It's
You kind of
true.
talk to him, and then he's like, I don't care. And he's like, oh, he's like, it's not like he's scary because he's malicious. He's kind of scary because he just doesn't care. Kind of.
Yes,
It kind of
exactly,
completes
that's
his
true.
whole character. Like, it makes sense. Like, he's a delinquent. Oh, he's like that. He's dumb,
Yeah, you think a delinquent gives a shit? That too, right? Like, he doesn't.
I mean,
Yeah.
There's a manga that I remember.
I didn't.
What was it?
Yes.
Or like the main
I've heard
character
of
is
that.
like a delinquent guy too. I think it's one of them. I read them like when I was 14 until like growing up until it finished. And it's like that's the pretty much the trope too. It's like, oh, he's so scary. He's like, well, he's so scary. He's like, he's so gloomy, and like then we get to know the character, and he's just like, I've got a bunch of tattoos, and now I can't like fucking lift my shirt to like change for PE. It's a lot of like impulsive decisions that you do in high school that follow up.
Yes.
I am still very happy that I never got a tattoo. I'm actually very happy about it because, like, I had this very big plan about what kind of
You-
tattoos where I would put them
The
and stuff like
biggest
that. And my mom
tattoo.
said, "No, don't do it."
I kind of want a tattoo.
Yeah, I still
Yeah,
want
me
it, but I don't
too.
want it. Like I am
I
scared
think I
that
get what
I'm-
you mean.
Yeah, I'm scared that I'm gonna get too much used to it, and at some point it will start bothering me because I'm seeing the same thing every day. Because I like changing colors and clothes and everything. And like seeing the same thing every day will probably make me feel bad
You need like
in a
maybe
way.
henna with
That's what I'm scared about.
or like layer.
Another thing that's gonna be forever.
Yeah.
You know?
That is the
That reminds me of the.
go ahead.
I was gonna say that reminds me of the mistakes a lot of people make when they choose an alarm sound for their morning alarm. They put a song they really like and they end up hating it
It's
real
the
damn
alarms.
quick.
Yeah, you have that
after
like
that.
PTSD kind of
Because it wakes them
situation.
up.
Or maybe get a tattoo with the name of your high school boyfriend as well. Like this
That's
is
a terrible
dumb
idea.
decision.
The
Yeah.
high school boy.
Absolutely terrible idea. I would not recommend.
I know people that did that, and it's like they had to cover it up afterwards. It's funny.
Yeah.
That would be a Lori.
Moving on to Lori, she's not just a blank slate. She has her own personality, which I really love, and it feels more like you're guiding her instead of making choices for her. How did you go about writing her character?
Playing God is what I
Okay,
always
so,
kind of like to say when writing.
I'm
these
just gonna say
characters.
this one.
Um.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
Right.
I was gonna say earlier that like when I read this question, my boyfriend said the same thing, the exact same thing. Like he felt like he was guiding her, and he wanted to like when he was playing the game out, he wanted to put her on the right path and make her get along with everyone and stuff like that. She felt like a daughter.
POV, it's like you become a dad.
That's cute.
Yeah, that's simulated.
Yeah, that's another way
Wait,
to
what?
see the story.
Yeah, Rita said the same thing too, Jinn, right? Remember when like Rita was streaming? She kept saying, Lori,
Lori, stop, girl.
like you're my child right
Stop,
now,
girl.
Lori.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they trigger people. Like Lori triggers people's parental instincts.
Because of the bad decisions that she makes. When I played Lori though, I was pretty in my head about it. I was like, what would I do? And I pretty much make boring decisions though.
And I
Boring is
really
safe.
think that's what makes Lori compelling is when you're playing her and when you just choose the decisions that are gonna make you answer, oh wait, what should I, if I was Lori, what should I choose or what should I do? And then I think it kind of the story kind of gets back to you, like the writing gives you what you deserve. Exactly, if that makes sense.
I guess that that does make sense in like hindsight. Whenever I write these like stories, I always come back after revisions like a brand new reader, like a beta reader. It's like I did not write this, but yeah, what was it? With like, oh, I think I could relate to Lori in a way whenever like I'm making decisions. That's why whenever like we talk about Lori, whenever writing her, it's a big like gap between like what you kind of wanna follow what your parents expect of you, be like a good girl and like maybe not date that like red flag boy who's like up to no good in school, and like kind of doing like more impulsive things akin to like what a teenager would do. Like maybe you don't get the straight A's. Maybe you like meet up with friends. Is that like dichotomy of like the good girl kind of trope where like you can follow like what is expected, and that would be like the easier road versus like what was it? Like following truly so cliche, but like that is like the plot or like the point of the story is like going against like the grain and like doing just that exactly. And if
You're finding
Yeah.
yourself, even like figuring out what you want to
Yeah.
do, essentially, like living for yourself. Yeah.
Especially in your teenage years, I mean, that's the time you're allowed to make mistakes.
I would argue not.
That's the time where it's expected.
Excuse
Wait,
me?
hold on.
Why
I got
not?
like no. Whenever I made
Like better make
disappeared.
them when you're younger.
whenever I made mistakes, I got like the worst scalding. Yeah, it's just like
Yeah, and obviously it's your parents' job to make you feel bad about those
yeah,
mistakes.
I had like
Honestly,
Extra.
if your parents are like a little bit more close-minded than you actually grew up Oh shit! I got confused in my own wording. What I wanted actually to say is that who are your parents to tell you what is a mistake if they're closed-minded? That was my moral dilemma.
Yeah, but you kind of grow up with like then this is like the what is it? The conflict with Lori is that she was raised with like those values. It's because they are your parents and they
Yeah.
raised you. They would like hand over to you like what their values are, and that's why kind of like getting out of your shell, meeting new people, you kind of don't want to see it that way. Like, oh, maybe they were close-minded or they were wrong, right? And I think that
Yeah, you actually
Like it's not immediate.
realize that
There's kind of a journey to it, right?
yeah, like you look back at some point and you see the whole thing and you're like, okay, this was not this didn't happen that way in my head. Like I was seeing that situation in a different way. Maybe my mother was right or maybe my dad was wrong or stuff like that. You evaluate certain situations in the future when you grow up.
gonna
Yeah, and you just kind of have to go through that, right? You know.
But
I'm-
speaking about mistakes, so the story starts with a summer fling, and I wonder who is Cody to Lori at the start of the game.
Cody is my favorite character.
Cody is
Oh,
he
shit.
asked who is Cody to
To
Lori,
Lori,
not who is
to
Cody to
Skai.
Sky. Like,
Not
it's a different question.
Well, now we
I'm
know.
sorry, I'm just teasing. I just had to.
No. I get it.
you just
No,
had to tell.
well, because he was our summer play. Yeah, we just had to say because Cody originally it was like we did plan a sequel in mind for the beginning. We cannot talk about Meteor Shower without talking about the sequel because the sequel is where it all started. And like Cody was a main character in that sequel.
Yeah.
And he didn't really spend a lot of time with Lori in high school because she met
In
him
summer camp.
in a summer camp and they almost dated, but then he ghosted
like
her, you know? So I was
A lot of like
Yeah.
those like high school would they won't they kind of situations. What do you call them these days? Like it's not a situation. Maybe it is. I guess it would be. Right? So it is in the
It is.
2020's a situation that never came to fruition because of like a summer camp. And then no, they try to make it work. They try to make it work, but like
they did.
it did. It lasted like a week, which was like, and that it lasted
weeks. 2 weeks. It lasted
and
2
it
weeks.
felt like a lifetime.
Yeah.
And she mourned it for a day, and then she met.
And then
Then
she
she
met
met
Taylor.
It felt like she was mourning it a whole week, actually.
No, that's
So-
true. Right. I remember that from chapter 2. Lori was like she fought Reese. She like that was like the time like she was hanging out with Reese and Bernadette, right? And she was like, "What's your problem, Reese? What's wrong with you?" And Reese was like, "What? What's wrong with you? Why are you being so pissed? That's because that guy like fucking dumped you."
I will say, if we're allowed to have
Yeah.
favorites, Reese is my favorite. We would get into arguments because
You're allowed to have favorites. You rolled them. What is
Yes.
this?
Oh, but it's like children. You're not supposed to.
No, you can.
No.
You can. You
We
can. Don't
aged
worry
them.
about that.
I mean, you can. You
in our timeline they are older.
Yeah.
Is what we right? That was
Yeah, like Meteor Shower is supposed to be a flashback. Is the thing.
So honestly, I loved Cody from the beginning. I felt like this is in the beginning. I told that this is the love interest that I have in the game. Afterwards, I was a little bit surprised when he ghosted me, and or Lori. So this felt incredibly real, honestly, and it was very cruel. What is this? Why did you make us fall in love with this guitar playing actor guy model
Did you-
stuff?
Theater
Like, did
kid.
you
What is
really?
this?
Boy.
Did we really?
And then take him away from me. Yeah, I liked him a lot. What is
We
this?
wrote Cody really convincingly charming.
We-
Mhm.
Like, I swear to God,
We
Jinn, we
wrote
did.
him very
He had Riz.
I'm so immune to like whenever writing like the riz of these fucking characters. He's just
No, that's
spouting
true.
nonsense at this.
No, but like he does have Riz. Like I can see that working on a high schooler. I can see
Of
it
course it
working. I can
would.
even see it working on
Oh,
like
of
a
course it would.
yeah. I can see it working on like
I
a
feel
young
like
adult.
I feel
I
like
can
we've
see it
all
working.
had just like
Yeah,
a crush.
it would work.
He's a hot
He's a
theater
he's
kid
a
who plays
no.
guitar
He's
and
not even
acts
like a
well.
stereotype. He is like a boy with a guitar, which is like the hardest thing you could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's enough.
Or-
Like it doesn't need to talk. Like he doesn't need to talk. Like he is a pretty boy with a guitar.
He
That's
doesn't
enough.
even need to play it.
That's
He just
enough.
needs to carry it around.
We're already
For a
there.
teenager, that's enough. For a teenager, that is enough.
Yeah. Like for me, at least, I am that type of person that all of the boyfriends I ever had in my life, they were all musicians, like, or at least trying to be musicians. Like they were all of them were playing the guitar and maybe smoking a
worst-
cigarette. Like, oh,
The
yeah,
worse they
you're
were
so
at
hot.
the instrument,
Yeah.
but like the hotter they got. It's like, oh, the struggle.
Yeah. Okay. So now I get you why you had to make this cruel move of taking Cody away from us for a while. But I want to move on to Worry's friend. So we already mentioned that Reese is Jinn's favorite. He's like a protective person. Sometimes he's a little bit freaky. And also Worry has friends like Bernadette and Julio. So can you tell us a little bit about Worry's friends and their role in the story of Meteor Shower?
We always just like whenever there's like a main character, there has to be like people around them to like bounce off of, and that's pretty much the cast. So if we were to discuss like who Julio is Laurie's like neighbor. He's a childhood friend, neighbor.
Yeah.
Pretty much it would be what was it? Julio that would be protective. But right now he's not because he doesn't know better.
Yeah, he doesn't know about
Yeah.
Taylor yet. In the update, he's gonna be very protective, but
bad.
right now he's still in fairyland. Lori does not
ugly.
want Julio to find out.
A trope that I personally had in mind was like Marshall from How I Met Your Mother. That like that big, lovable, like bear type guy. It's like, oh, it's practically like a teddy bear,
Yeah.
right? It's like
Friendly giant.
he's a friendly giant.
He's
yeah.
a friendly giant.
Yeah, and like I love Julio. Every single scene that he's in actually like just lights up the room. Like genuinely, it makes me smile whenever I reread Meteor Shower. I see Julio. He's here. He's just
He's
being a
just-
guy. He's
He's
being
just
fun.
Mhm.
happy to be
Mhm.
here.
When he's in that apron, he was so cute.
Yeah, the pink apron.
And then there's Bernadette. How would we describe Bernadette?
She's the mom friend. She is like, Lori, girl, what are you doing?
The one keeping it
Yeah,
real.
true. This is the vibe.
That
This
is
is the
her.
vibe we get from her. I had a friend like that, and she's exactly the same vibe.
Like her hand on her hip.
Yeah, like, so what, like, after this guy ghosted you, you're literally
You're
just-
falling apart.
You're so desperate for a boyfriend.
Why are you
That
falling
you-
apart? Get it together,
you-
Diva.
Like at the start, she was like, "Are you sure? Are you
Are
sure?
you
girl?"
sure about Weed Boy? Really? All of this for Weed Boy?
That was it, huh?
She was always so skeptical about Laurie's relationships, like with Cody at the
No,
start, and then
she
Taylor.
loved
Like,
Cody.
really?
She was
You
right.
loved Cody, right?
No, she didn't love Cody. She was like, "Oh, I'll be supportive," but like I don't know about that, but I'll be supportive. Like he doesn't seem that bad.
But I was remembering one of the earlier chapters when Laurie was showing Bernadette the text from Cody, and she was like, "Wait, how old is this guy? What? Where did you meet him? Like, really?
Yeah.
You've never."
He's moving out
It
for
was like,
college?
huh?
Oh.
She was trying to be supportive, but at the same time, like she was trying so hard to like not say the wrong thing to her.
She was probing. And I was like,
Yeah, yeah,
what's
yeah.
another-
I just remembered that moment.
Also, we're missing one person. So players asked about Scarlet a lot. What
I'm
was your
stopping you
direct-
right now.
Okay.
I'm stopping
Okay.
you right now. You're missing one person before we talk about Scarlet. We have to talk about Reese.
Yes, we have to talk about Reese. Reese,
I
Yeah,
guess you
because-
love Reese in this house.
So So we know that Reese and the main character Mori, they used to be into a relationship, but her parents found out and
Yeah, to
things
break
got
up.
a little bit.
They broke up before that.
They broke
Yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
My point is that they have a story,
I feel like we have like
and this always. Sorry.
I feel like in the friend group in high school, there's always like those two weird friends. Which we
Like
had one in our friend
they're
group.
in the same friend group. Yeah, and they're like
They're
on and off.
They like
you
keep
know?
fighting, and it's like, why are you still friends? Can you please find different friends?
And then they break up one last time, before they graduate or before one of them moves away. And that's that.
But no,
Wait. Now I have a question. What was Bernadette's opinion of Reese when he first started dating Lori?
we never thought of that.
Oh, I'm pretty sure she liked him.
Yeah,
She liked
because
him.
he's pretty
Oh, okay.
clear cut. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Quotation.
He's a nice guy. Yeah. But really nice guy.
Genuinely, like he gets along with Bernadette. They're friends.
friends.
They're like actually friends. Like Bernadette's not friends with Cody.
Not
Bernadette's not
friends
friends with Taylor. She's like, she knows Reese on a personal level. And she's like, oh yeah, this guy checks out.
He's cool.
And they had to break up because of Worry's parents, not because something else happened.
No.
right?
They had to break up because
Personal differences.
insecurities.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
No, I think we haven't really delved deep into the chapter, right?
we kind
We
of
just
touched on it. We kind of touched on it.
So
Lori did complain to Taylor about it, kind of explained to him why exactly.
Lori keeps
Lori just,
complaining about Reese.
complains
Like there's just this
every
thread.
time.
Yeah.
Like I do. Like, sometimes I think is like
There's this-
unnecessary towards Reese. Stop it.
Maybe
know,
she never got over him. I don't know.
It's
Because I think it's that, and also it's not that she never got over him. I think that she's pretty over him romantically at this point in time, but she's not over the arguments. She's not over the arguments that they had. She's still fighting with him in her head.
it's the fights we had in a couple. Now they're fighting as friends. It's a different chapter, guys.
Pretty much.
Let's not shift them.
It's pretty much pretty much Lori is like, this is why I broke up with you, and Reese is like, God, I'm glad
So
you broke up
happy.
with me.
Let's stay broken up. Like I wish I broke up with you.
Yeah.
I have actually my boyfriend's best friend used to be my ex before that, and we have conversations like that. That's why it didn't work out between us. You know it, right? Yeah, sure.
That's kinda nice.
So,
Yeah.
so it's funny, and I relate to that. And also, it's you and me and your friend Steve all the time.
Friends also did that a lot.
It's funny.
And this is why we broke up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that type of dynamic where people can actually stay friends after things didn't work out
Yeah.
at all. I mean, this is the true form of love, or at least that's how I imagine it.
I mean, love evolves, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Love.
So it
You can
does
still
not
love
a
a
myth.
person
love
even
that
if it's not romantic.
it's not tied to intimate parts. That's my point. It could be
Yeah.
friendship love, and
And
you
it-
can still cook dinner for them and have a
It
good
could be
time.
an argumentative kind of love as well. Just arguing.
So I think now we can
We
move
can
to
move
Scarlet,
Scarlet
Morig.
now.
Yes, you said that Lori complains a lot, but Scarlet has her beat way more in that
We have a
regard.
Scarlet. No, it's because we know Scarlet personally, and that's why it's so loaded. Is what I will say.
Oh, I know a male
We,
Scarlet.
yeah.
yeah,
think it's-
yeah, we
I
know
think
a
it's the
Scarlet in
fact
real
that-
life.
It's the fact that a lot of these characters are somehow reflections of real life people that we know, but Scarlet is kind of a little bit more pointed towards someone. If you guys will agree with me.
Yeah. I mean, they even acknowledge the resemblance themselves. It's fine.
Also, they've played the game, this person in question.
Yeah. I'm
We're
pretty good
really
friends with this
close.
person,
Yeah.
actually.
We're close friends
It-
with them.
Yeah, they pretty much acknowledge that obviously we kind of all were assholes in high
Does she
school.
know?
So, you know, we had those phases. They're pretty.
Does she know?
I,
Does she know?
she
She relates.
she relates.
She has read the
She
thing
relates.
and unknowingly relates. I was worried that she knew. I thought
She verbally says that. Wait, no, Scarlet is my favorite character. I really relate.
take
to
that
Scarlet
as
on
a
personal
compliment.
level.
That's you
That's
in
what
the
she
box,
said.
baby girl.
Here's the thing too, like people think Scarlet is annoying and shit, but like she's got issues, and her issues are like, I mean, sure they're rich people issues, but it's kind of, you know, to be compared to somebody like
Yeah.
Reese all your life. You know, just like be suffocated all the time, not to be able to do what you want. Just like so much repression and
She's
restriction. That's
acting
what
out.
happens.
Is what? Yeah.
You know, that is.
Yeah.
The
But-
steam has
We
to come out from
imagine-
somewhere.
Yeah, we imagine like when she grows up, she's gonna be like really, really.
And she
chill.
does.
Yes.
Yeah, she
We're working on a thing.
Okay. Exciting. We're close to the part that we're going to talk about your future project. But now, first, we need to talk about the art of Meteor Shower. So, you've got 11 backgrounds and 20 CGs and expressive sprites with different outfits and variations. So, I wanted to ask, what were your inspirations and how did you go about making all that art?
Well, if you ask me, I just did it. Like honestly,
You
I
just
just went
did it?
brain.
Just,
Yeah, brain empty. I was like, you know what? I
It's
want to
a
do this thing.
vibe.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna let's go. It's a vibe. No, really, I approach projects like that. My personal projects, I'm just like, I have an entirely different visual novel, right? That is like plotted out almost entirely that I'm expecting to write, and it's going to be like 86 chapters, you know? I'm that kind of person. If it's a vibe, I'll do it. I don't care how much it is. If I think I need it, I'll put it in. That's how I approach the art here. But I did give a limit. I did tell Jinn that like be mindful of when you're writing new locations, because I don't really want to draw another background unless we absolutely need it or we're gonna reuse it later in the future. So there is some limits there, because like if there's one thing I hate doing is doing backgrounds. Fuck backgrounds. I don't want to do that. But,
I wanna do the
but, like,
characters.
yes, but the characters are fun. I love you guys know this. I love drawing women, right?
Mhm.
But like, you know, there's also just this fun thing about, you know, drawing pretty diverse characters with a diverse set of interests and personalities that you could just and in a diverse fashion sense, especially in the modern era. You know, like even if there were kids without like a developed fashion sense just yet, like you kind of see their personalities already.
You see
just,
kind of like the
peeking
time
through.
period too, right?
Also,
Yeah,
this was in
the time
2010.
period.
Yes. I think about the time period 2010 when we grew up and we were teenagers, and like I thought about how we dressed when we were teenagers and stuff like that. And you know, the really expressive sprites that everybody seems to like, right? Because they keep changing
You spoiled
poses,
us with that.
right? That I actually wrote I actually wrote that in a devlog that we had, devlog number 4. I remember what this was. Devlog number 4 VNN film. I linked who coined that theory. It's my friend Rita. Did Jenna Rita on stream on Twitch, on like Twitter? I refuse to call it X. But like yeah, it's actually her theory where she sort of said that you can actually cover most ranges of emotions with 3 poses and 4 expressions each pose, and it would be pretty dynamic. And then I tested it out because she hasn't tested it out herself when she posted that theory. And you know, what do you know? It made, you know, Meteor Shower pretty memorable. And like I really love that one sprite of Lori where her angry sprite.
The
Her
stomping
angry
one.
sprite is really
Yep.
funny.
It's very cute, yeah.
It's more cute.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really cute. Her angry sprite. Yeah, and it's like, I really do love that we went in that direction because it just made everything more animated. Everything moving and stuff like
Yeah,
that. That's
and
my
it's
favorite.
It's
just You're
dynamic.
right. They kind of move
It's
around.
very
Yes.
dynamic.
And the chasing scenes. The chasing scenes are really
Yeah, the
good.
chasing scene with Taylor and
Yes.
Scarlet
I
was
love
really
the
funny.
chasing scene so much because it just made the whole thing. It's so mundane. The way the
mundane.
scene happens, it's so mundane, but it's kind of funny. When you read it, it's like, oh, this is happening.
You
And then you
see
see the
them, like, go
characters
off
just play out.
stage.
Like, wait, this is funny.
The shoes.
And then like you hear
Yeah, you hear the
the
shoes
footsteps,
squeaking.
yeah, the shoes against the floor.
The first time I saw this, I was like, wait, did that actually pass by my screen just now? Am I
Yeah,
hallucinating?
no, that's Pyr. That's Pyr.
Yeah, I
Did a good
really made
job.
the sound. Yeah, I really wanted to make that scene very dynamic, so almost all of the aspect was really to be considered to make that scene just funny.
Yeah, it was really funny. Like I remember when I showed it to my boyfriend too. He was laughing his ass off. He was like, "What was that? I can't believe it. She's chasing him." You know.
Honestly, guys, like you have great synergy. Your team has great synergy. And that's why you managed to produce great stuff. I don't have any words to actually explain
Thank you so
how
much.
balanced is everything. Very nice. But I have one more question for Skai. So, in Meteor Shower, your style is completely different than the one used in Let's Misbehave, or at least, like, I am not an art person, so that's how I see it. Is this your go-to style? I feel like it's like a little bit of papered, hand-drawn style, and it feels very nice.
Glad you like it. So I'm a bit of a chameleon when it comes to art. I don't actually commit to a style. If the closest style that I actually have is our icons. Right now, I actually drew Arsonas, right? So you can see it on the screen. I drew these recently so that the three of us can match. So these are Arsonas. That's the closest you can get to my actual art style right now. That's what it looks like.
And
But
it's
usually-
nothing like it doesn't fit to neither to Let's Misbehave or
Meteor Shower.
Meteor Shower. Yeah, like it's completely different. This is amazing.
Thank you. I do what the story needs. That's why they call me the director, right? Because like I also do art direction, and I really just go by vibes. Like, how many times have I said I go by vibes in this podcast? Because I do.
At
That
least
is
twice.
A few times.
But I think I did. I think I said it thrice because like I really do just do it by vibes. Listen. When I first thought of the concept of the sequel to Meteor Shower and to Meteor Shower, it's always just like, oh, like I'll listen to music. I have a playlist and I'm like, hey, you guys, so the vibe is kind of like this, you know, and we could do this. And then like we start riffing and we talk about what the vibe is. And then sometimes I make a mood board, sometimes I don't, but like there's always that's the thing, there's always a musical aspect to how we come up with ideas in this world. And that's why there's a lot of focus on the music. And another thing, because the music too is part of culture, right?
Yeah.
And it defines fashion and, interests and like whatever is going on, right? It defines generations even. So it's very important. We see it as very important for the atmosphere. And that's how I come up with stuff. It's like, it's just a vibe. And Meteor Shower just felt like, I don't know, I just wanted to make something that feels nostalgic. That feels like a faded photograph. I don't know, that's how I describe it. I wanted everything to feel like it's a faded photograph, like a snapshot of a time in your life where everything was a lot simpler, but felt so dramatic because that was your whole world at the time, and I didn't want it to be gloomy. I wanted to be very vibrant and colorful and washed out, like, the photos.
The colors
not
are
washed
bright
out, but like vibrant and colorful, like the
versus
photos are
like their other
saturated.
stuff. They're very bright. I think it also like kind of brings like a youthful vibe to it because they're
Yeah.
kids.
Yes.
Very nice. Thank you for explaining this whole art direction thing for me. And by the way, I just want to mention that I love the fact that you can change the styles you draw. This is like really,
Thank
really
you.
amazing, and it's a talent. Just keep
Thank
in
you so
mind.
much.
No, I thank you so
Or
much.
ice, thank you.
That's about it.
we can thank each other.
So, you did mention that music is also quite important for the vibe, and I agree. The soundtrack does fit the game quite perfectly. How did you go about making the music for Meteor Shower?
Oh, it's a really that's a really nice tangent. Why when Sky mentioned that music is an intrinsic piece in the way we make things in the dev server that we have, just the three of us. Even when we're not working on a project, we talk about music a lot. We talk about playlists. We talk about current pop music.
We are
And
literally like just recently we have been gossiping about the whole pop girly feuds that has been happening
yes,
right
there's
now
a
with
lot.
Taylor
There's
Swift
a lot.
and Charlie
There's a lot.
XCX and everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, I wonder which character in the game that reminds me of.
Bernadette.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a thing that we have, that what we really want the music to not just be a part of the process. We want to make it involved, really involved as much as the other elements are. And with Meteor Shower, the way that I approached it was much like what Sky has done when they were making the art. They were listening to playlists. I did that too. When I approach a certain story, when I approach a certain narrative, I tend to place the music as this music will transport you directly to what the story needs. So I listen to a lot of 2000s to 2010s indie rock, indie pop music, a lot of guitar stuff. Most of the soundtrack is really guitar stuff. And I want the music to not just be something that's in the background, but there's this one comment that we got that really resonated with me, because that was exactly what I was wanting to do. They described the music as something that not was just there, but it accompanied the shifts and the tone and the revelations in the plot. One of the fun things that I liked happening was there's a certain guitar melody that's acoustic, and then when Taylor is there, the acoustic guitar becomes an electric guitar, because we kind of wanted Taylor to be the electric guitar. So
Yeah, I could. When I
there's a
heard
lot
his
of
ringtone,
things.
I kind of guessed that's.
Yeah, right. This was so Taylor, and I really wanted to, not just because they like this type of music, they like this type of music, or because I think it evokes a certain kind
Vivid.
of place. Yeah, I think it evokes a certain kind of when you listen to this. Oh wait, this is what's happening. It already makes you feel things without you having to read. So it's just would you
Go
not?
into the era as well. There's also
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
right?
It plops you into the
It's
era.
it's like
Definitely.
the influences that I've had for their characters that I sent these to Pyr as well. Like it's pretty canon. Like when you read the story, like I've mentioned that Lori loves Taylor Swift, which isn't a surprise because like a lot of
It's
women
not a
love Taylor
surprise. Yeah.
Swift, right? And for Taylor, I specifically chose Mayday Parade as like his favorite band because I remember I was just listening to a lot of Mayday Parade when I was growing up because like I liked bands from that genre, from that side of the music scene. And I just thought that they wrote very dramatic and emotional and fatalistic lyrics at the time, and I was like, I mean, the Mayday Parade album, like the self-titled, is very like it's a breakup album essentially. It's full of breakup songs, so it's kind of like, yeah, that's Taylor's vibe. He's like he's the kind of guy who romanticizes being heartbroken.
Oh yeah,
And Jinn wrote that
I
scene,
I just remember.
right?
I don't remember that until now. I was gonna say it's like a foreshadowing kind of thing. You kind of listen to like a song or like a sound, and it's like, oh, this kind of hits, and then something happens to you, and then it just makes it even better, or like you relate to it more personally.
It hits harder
Yeah, and he just like remember Taylor said, "I cannot wait to be heartbroken and listen to this album."
I also noticed he had Linkin Park on his playlist,
Oh yeah,
which I
Oh yeah, he
completely
did.
expected.
yeah,
I remember. Oh yeah, we made an
we
asset that like had his.
yeah
That was a
we
joke.
forgot.
I was laughing so
There
hard when
was
I
a
was making that phone because I was
there
like, "What
was a
would Taylor
comment
listen
that we
to?
missed
He
out
listened to
like
Linkin
Green
Park. He
Day, and I
listened to
kind of agree with
Avril.
that. He would listen to Green Day,
Yeah,
right?
he would listen to.
We
Oh no, here's the
didn't
thing
put
that
that. Does
he
he?
has Green Day in his playlist. Oh, well, because like the thing is, I put it there because it's in alphabetical order, so it was kind of like, yeah, Green Day would be off screen. I'm sorry, but like, yeah, it was kind of alphabetical order. It had to be like that. But like, canonically, he would definitely be listening to Green Day for sure.
So, we're in the middle of our podcast, basically. No, maybe not in the middle. We're towards the end of it. So we will start actually putting some exclusive stuff that you send us. And we were about to talk about this original song that the main character Lori writes in the game. You were kind enough to send it to us, so we're gonna play it as a background song now for our listeners. But can you please tell us what does that song mean for Lori?
Okay, so the Meteor Shower like main menu is a song that I wrote like it's canonically supposed to be the first song that Lori ever writes. It's the song that she writes a song about Taylor, and that's when she like first I guess discovers herself her passion for music, for writing music.
Like kind of like made something of it. There we go.
Yes, yeah. It would be the first time she made something of it. She wrote about Taylor and she wrote about the night with the meteor shower, and it's kind of like canonically she likes Taylor Swift. So I was thinking, okay, maybe she would probably make a song that kind of sounds like a Taylor Swift song. So that's what I did. I just like played my guitar and I, wrote something that I think maybe, could be something that might be inspired by early Taylor Swift, right? And yeah, that's what it came out. And then here, so kindly
Yeah, I
turned
took
that demo. Yeah.
they sent me the demo, and then what if this was the main menu theme? But there weren't any vocals yet, so I was basing all of it in this vibe that it was. So that's my approach as well. What if I made a Taylor Swift track, but it's just an instrumental, and then I used the melodies and I built upon it, and that's how you get the main menu track. So yeah.
Like Pyr and I have a history of making music together, so we kind of just
we send each other stuff. I make the music, they write the lyrics. It's kind of like a thing between us.
Yeah, we kind of vibe. We're like aliens like that. We just kind of get each other. It's like it's a neural link at this point.
Yeah, I was just about to say that musicians have different minds. Like they're built different. Their minds are different, and I believe that musicians can speak directly into their minds, like without saying a word. Actually, like it's a whole new level of expressing yourself and vibing, basically. So I guess
yes, again, it's a vibe. We just vibe.
It's a vibe. Yeah.
That's a really nice description of like what I do in music. Really, it's like it's this whole other. Maybe language, I think. It may be a language, a different kind of language. I just want to express. And that's kind of what I did in Meteor Shower. There's this whole untapped language in the story itself. So like maybe let's extract that and let's make that listenable to the players.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing all this. It's amazing.
Thank you.
So, moving on to the systems in the game, I wanted to ask, so you committed to a non-negative, basically there being no negative consequences in the choices, and instead them being more of a flavor for the main character's personality. Why did you choose to go that route?
Because Lori will get...
Well,
yeah, so Lori will
first
get
of all, this was
with
a flashback.
Taylor regardless. Yeah.
No matter what.
They kinda
No matter
need-
what, she
I
will
She
get
needs
with
to be
Taylor.
with
She will
Taylor
get
to
with
have broken
Taylor.
his heart in the sequel. Yeah.
Yeah, but also we took that limitation and made it fun. Like, yeah, there's no bad ending, but obviously, we talked about this earlier, right? When you were like, oh, this is how you play Lori. She's not a blank slate. You kind of guide her. It's like that, like her actions are a result. Like, there are still consequences to her actions, and it's a result of your choices as a player. But, that doesn't mean you're gonna get a bad ending. That doesn't mean somebody's
Yeah.
The
gonna
bad
die,
ending
or that
could be
doesn't mean
like
Taylor's gonna break up with
the
you.
bad
or,
ending could be
whatever.
like, oh,
You can relax.
me and my crush aren't in a relationship. That's a bummer. That's kind of like a bad ending in a way. Yeah, because there's like a platonic,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
There is a
yeah,
platonic
but
ending. That's my bad
yeah.
ending.
I mean, over here, well, it's not a bad ending, I would say. It's just you kind of decided to take things slower with Taylor, or more of just like, yeah, it kind of just depends on your approach.
Actually, I
What
was
Because
did-
obviously Taylor's a realized
What
character,
did Morig
right?
get
So I just
when you
didn't want.
played it?
Yeah, what was your ending?
We stayed on
Right.
the beach.
we
What did you
laid
get?
on the beach and looked at the star and looked at the falling stars, and he was talking about how sometimes he thinks he has Lori figured out, and other times he has no idea what she's thinking, and he's trying to figure out, do you have some ulterior motive for being nice to me, and things like that.
What ending is that? What ending?
Okay. Wait, what was that? Did they end up together or no?
He's actually fighting.
No,
her. He's
I
like,
won't
what do you
think,
want?
say they did.
Want my wallet? What do you want?
What do you want from me? Why are you so nice to me?
You teenage nightmare.
Okay, because I will say there is an ending where, because there are like factors that affect it, but like at the end of the Falling Stars update, at the end of the Meteor Shower, basically there are two possible outcomes, major outcomes, where they stay friends or they are dating by
Sounds
the
like
end of
they're
it.
still friends,
And
right? It sounds like they're still friends.
yeah,
Yeah. Even the
Yeah.
the
I
ending
think
I
that's
got,
such
I
like
felt
a-
they were quite close.
That feels like I would hate Pyre reading it. It's just like, what the hell? What are we?
I was gonna ask exactly about s- so in the game you promised basically that you decide when the relationship moves forward, and I was gonna ask, how did you design those beats, and how can players calibrate intimacy with Taylor without FOMO, fear of FOMO?
Okay, so this is how I started it when I thought of the concept. It was supposed to be, there are supposed to be 3 major points where Lori can get with Taylor. So we've only gotten to point 1, the Meteor Shower. Point 2 comes in the next update, and point 3 comes in the graduation. And basically, from how that goes, you can either play the game wherein you can get with Taylor during the Meteor Shower. You can take it a little bit slower if you want to do a slow burn, and you can get with him at the end of summer vacation, or you can get with him when he graduates high school. So that's kind of how it's structured, but I also like a game of chance. Because
I
like
guess
these
it's the
characters,
choices?
there is a game of chance here, because these characters, yeah, it's the choices. Because when you do have, when you've met the requirements to get together with Taylor, he can actually like either confess to you at the Meteor Shower, or you can get the option to confess to him. You can choose not to confess, or you can choose to reject him.
It mimics
And
kind of
that's
like
kinda
real
how
life,
it goes.
like the choices that you do, even if like not romantic choices. If you play it a little bit ballsier, you play a little bit more forward, you get closer with Taylor through your choices. Inevitably, you will get like the dating option or like the confession scene. But if you play it a little bit more, right?
Yeah, because Taylor, yeah. No, because like if Taylor kind of senses, it's sort of, yeah, it's like in real life. It's sort of like a game where you kind of feel it out, right? Or if Taylor kind of senses that you're interested in him, he's going to be a little bit more confident to like, get with you. Yeah.
I do want to point out one small thing. where this it also affects the type of music that you can hear. There's a slight variation in where Taylor confesses to you, or Taylor, yeah, or where you get to confess to Taylor, and it's kind of inspired of the type of melodies that I use, where the melody for when Taylor confesses to you, it's kind of a little bit more romantic, and then the route where you don't get to where you get to confess to Taylor, it's more of like a reflection of the friend melody that we've made throughout the game. So it's kind of a familiar sound, but when Taylor confesses to you, it's this is kind of a new-ish romantically connected sound.
So as I said, musicians are built different. This is like a whole different thing. So we are moving to the community and dev journey segment of the podcast.
Okay, so the comments are praising the writing, the humor, Taylor's nuance, and are asking for more roots. What feedback changed something concrete in the game and in this update?
Well, I wouldn't say any feedback changed anything.
We're
We're
going
still
off
going on with the
vibe.
plan, but it's more of just what changed in the update. Yeah, but yeah, it's vibes. Yeah, we're going off vibes. It's more of just like what we feel like writing in the moment. We're like, okay, we planned this,
It's
but it
a
kind of
lot.
doesn't work anymore, so we're gonna change it.
Even if even
and
without
we're
like the
gonna go with this
comments,
instead.
a lot of like
Yeah.
I made outlines at first, but like we would add like bits. We added like bits, and then it changed, and then the outline is just we got carried
We
away with it.
carried
I
away
would
with
say that
bits.
we enjoyed the comments, and for the most part, what is it? We do like think about these comments, but it is like it's more of a passion project that we just want to listen to how you kind of perceive or what your take is on it. Yeah. So we
Yes,
would
we wanna
still
know what
like,
you
oh, I
think.
hate this character. It's like we're not gonna change that. That's how she is. That's how he is. Actually, we have. Yeah, it's
Now
meant to
that's
be.
Pretty
meant,
much.
I
meant
have
to
like
be.
a character
Yes.
that I made. I love him to bits. He's Luke, and like I want him to be hated so much.
It's Luke.
I hate Luke. I despise Luke.
Yeah, see,
for
exactly.
information.
See, Pyr hates Luke. He's Luke's number one hater. Or for some reason, Luke is so iconic.
am.
Like
It's
a
that
lot of
kind
people
of,
have
like,
mentioned him in the comments.
It's like a lot of like treats, kind of like bait, and you just kind of want the audience to see and like how they would react to it. However, how it would affect future projects, I wouldn't say much. What would you guys say? It's tricky.
We have a plan.
Yeah,
We're
until
gonna
it's
stick to the
vibes,
plan until
yeah.
we don't.
Even like even our own like plans don't really they don't matter too. Even
Our
our own
vibes.
plans. So like
Yeah.
Hmm.
Honestly, the way that
So-
I see it, I think it just validates the writing. Like, wait, they dislike this person, or they like this character, and it just wait, we're
Yeah.
doing the right thing,
If-
guys. I think
if
that's
we
just what's
see like a
happening-
certain
what's happening.
character
Yeah,
be more of,
exactly.
or like a certain character less, it's not so much as of the comments or trying to like appease to them. It's more of like our own whim.
Yeah. We just do it.
So you've been quite transparent about your active human-paced development, since you have like a very elaborate plan. You have real-life obligations as well. So what actually works for your 3-person team? Like in
Vibes.
2 words.
Vibes.
Vibes. It's the vibes.
Yeah,
We're
I'm
going back to
sorry, like,
vibes
what else
again.
are we gonna- it's
We
just
do
the
what we can
vibes. We just it's
with
just
like our
vibes
time
with
and
us.
like resources.
Yeah, if we're having fun. We're having fun. Yeah.
Okay, but
We
what
like
would
to
you
send
say is
each
the
other
most-
references.
Yes.
Yeah,
me too.
references are great.
References are important.
They always work. Like always, you can't go wrong with references.
And what would you say is the most expensive thing right now in terms of would time, art, writing, or audio? If a fairy godparent doubled one budget line,
Time. For
which would
me
you
at
pick
least.
among those?
Time.
I say marketing?
100% time.
Okay, so everyone's in unison about this one.
We didn't hear Pyr. What do you think?
He says time from the
He
void.
disappeared.
He says
Yeah.
time from the
It
void.
disappeared.
He wishes. He
says
wishes
time
he
from
had
the void.
time to
I'm
say.
sure it's time. I'm sure he will say the same.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: we don't really mind doing whatever we do. Like, but like time is really it's really what matters. We wish we had more time to work on stuff on top of IRL obligations. Yeah.
Okay. Talking about time then. What can fans expect next from God's Radio Dev in the future? When is the next update
Indefinite.
coming?
Fuck if I know. But like we're working on it. I don't know. I don't know when the next update is coming, but we are working on it. We have stuff down. It's just kind of hard to keep up with it and uni at the same time, especially. I'm a creative writing student. Okay, so I write in school and then I'm gonna write again for my hobby. It's like my brain is completely like it's gone. My brain is gone. But I do draw still for it every now and again, and we have an update planned. Like we're gonna unveil the
yes.
theme of
This
our
is
new
gonna
update
take a while.
next for our next update. in
How
this
long did
later.
I write? How long did we write
Yeah,
the first update? I feel like it was 2 years, close to 2 years.
yeah.
A
It was
year?
no, it
A
wasn't
year
close
and a
to 2
half.
years.
Yeah,
It was
so
like
we wrote
about
the first
like
one a year and a
a year
half.
and a half.
That's the demo and the first
Yeah.
update. And I see it's 90,000 words. So like, it's working on right now. Me and Skai are like doing our own little projects. While like, what is it? Like the distance? What was it about the heart and distance? What was it? Makes the heart grow fonder for like the
I
cast.
don't know what hard
Yeah.
distance.
It's that, yeah.
The distance makes
So
the heart.
right now we're
Oh,
doing
okay.
a lot of the
Yeah.
stuff that we do
Alright,
is
okay, I
still
get
like
it.
based on the Meteor Shower universe. Yeah. So I'm making like a story
Universe.
with Reese right now, and Sky is writing whole separate characters, but still in like they interact. They actually show up in Meteor Shower. Yeah, it is.
It's still set in Seaview, basically, and it's still set in like 2010, 2011. It's just it's like the whole 80
So
chapter
with
story I outlined
Mhm.
that I was talking about. Like that's
Yeah.
coming
So
one
with
day.
regards
Not
to like
anytime soon,
when
but
the
it's
next
coming.
Meteor Shower update would be, I would say it's still pretty far in the future, just like with how progress has been. But with like other projects, I hope that this one that I'm writing is gonna end soon, because I've been writing this one for like 2 years and I'm just about done with it. Maybe I can come back. Yeah, I could come back to. I could come
It's
back to
about
Meteor
Reese.
Shower soon,
It's about
just
Reese.
to continue the
I-
story. Yeah.
I
Well,
get
she
you
just
perfectly.
needs to get this out. Yeah.
I spent
Yeah.
4 years working on a game a year
Yeah,
ago.
and it's like, let's just be that. I love
I get you
love
perfectly.
starting this out, and now it's like I
100%.
want this to end. Please end it here. Yeah. So with regards to like content will be out hopefully sooner than later. I would expect like the soonest. Yeah, the soonest would be
Have
this
ideas.
year, the end of this year, probably like next year though, if we're being like realistic. Right? Does I?
Yeah. If we're being realistic, I would say next year.
Okay, yeah, that sounds fair. I was just gonna joke that next
It
year
is,
is like
so
around the
sooner than
corner.
later.
Not January of next year, that's for sure.
So
Definitely not
currently,
January.
currently
Yeah,
your demo is with Name Your Own Prize on itch.io. Do you have any Steam wishlist plan or Kickstarter plans or something?
Well, we want to put it on Steam. Like, we don't really have enough
Mm.
money to put it up on Steam. Like, I think you need $100 or something, right? And we all kind of collectively decided that if we get $100 on itch, then we'd use that money to put it on Steam. But like, we've gotten $30 so far.
Guys, everyone, our listeners, go play Meteor Shower. Help these people get their game to Steam. This is important. This is very important.
You.
No, I thank you
We
for creating nice
appreciate
games.
that.
Thank you
The
so
game
much.
is very nice to play, and is also like to all of our 4 listeners. I don't know. Please go give them money.
Okay, we're doing better than 4 on YouTube. It's just Spotify that's
Yeah,
kind of.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Awesome, that's awesome.
So, we're moving to the important part of the podcast. I'm gonna share my screen really fast, and we're gonna go through the exclusive content that you sent us. Like, look at this. This
Ooh.
is so beautiful. This is beautiful.
We
So,
love well-organized things.
yes. So we go for the concept art. What is this? Skai, tell us.
So yeah, I talked to you about earlier how Meteor Shower is supposed to be a flashback, right? It's supposed to be the backstory to the sequel game Snowfall, and this is it. This is in 2021. This is the first concept art I've ever made of the characters before we even really started writing anything, and this is supposed to be them as adults. So you see the guy with the cigarette, that's Taylor. Lori is the blondie in the middle. Her hair is always black, but like it's colored here. She's much older. Reese has red hair. It's also colored. Scarlet at the bottom, she's like a lot. She does not look like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like when she grows up, she won't be looking like that anymore. But it's a good proof of concept. It's like Pyr told me earlier. It's like, yeah, she doesn't look like an adult here, but I kind of see it as that's kind of the basis of what she thinks is cool right now as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's what she wants to look like right now, but that's not what she looks like when she's a teenager. And then Julio and Bernadette, can you believe it? Julio used to be a white jock, but
Oh yeah,
Right,
he
he's
is
ginger?
white.
Well, he was.
he was. But like we were like, I kind of like went
Let's
away
put some
with that.
diversity in this story.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
He
And
can't be
also,
named
like, his name is
Julio with like
Julio.
orange mop.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, yeah, so like that's so Lori and Taylor, that's like the first art I've ever drawn of them together, the one on top. That's the one, yeah.
Very nice. I love it. And here we got
Just
Bernadette.
flash them, the concept art for the sprites. Yeah, here we go. Just flash them right next to each other. There, this is Faith.
He
Actually,
shows up
she
at
shows
the
up
end.
more. She shows up a little bit in the
Towards
current
the end.
update,
He
but
will show up in
yeah, she
future
shows up
updates.
more in the next update.
Not much
So
here
like,
yet.
stay
We can go into the next one.
Yes. Go on.
I really like the pose, by the way. Like, it's very cute.
Oh yeah.
So
yes.
these
Ooh.
are
Isabella.
the
It's
more
Luke's
newer.
I
girlfriend.
love her.
Yeah, I was gonna
I love her. I love Isabella.
The first update. Oh yeah.
She's actually Julio's cousin. Yeah, she's actually Julio's cousin.
Oh, yeah, it was
They're
mentioned.
related. Yeah.
I can see that you love drawing women.
Yeah, right?
He feels
Julio!
We
the
have
cool white
Julio.
page.
So
Can you
he's-
can you
he's huge.
flash
He's
it like
not-
really fast? So,
huge.
like
He does.
this is shit. He got the smallest one.
Like more.
That man is
He
big.
knows the canvas.
Like, he's
Yeah.
he's
Beside
big.
Lori.
like, especially next to Lori. Like, look at him.
Yeah,
He's
look at
huge.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's huge. He fills the entire screen. Okay.
So we
Yes,
have Lori here. Very, very cute. Like, they almost stayed the
She's
same.
so
like,
wide-eyed here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
The
really
center
cute.
one in particular.
yeah.
Yeah. I didn't use that pose because it's too dynamic for a sprite.
Like mid-run, kinda.
Yeah. Let's go with the next one.
Oh,
I think
he's
the
the
next one
same.
is Luke.
He's like,
Yeah, exactly. That's
And-
exactly.
Yeah,
He's the same.
it is Luke.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
much has
It's
changed.
exactly the same. Not much.
I think
has
I got him
changed.
right.
I still
Honestly,
hate him.
she did.
I think I got him right on the first try.
Okay, we have an echo
Jen, can you mute? Yeah.
and
Reese.
and Reese. Yeah, here we got him.
But
He's so tired. And
I
that.
recognize
so-
those poses.
Yeah, he's so.
That
He's
face.
a guy. He's so yes, and then there's Scarlet right next to that.
Yeah,
Love her. Love
and
her.
we
and then
we've
Taylor.
got the bad boy here. Yeah,
You got Taylor
With matching smokes.
and with like very tired eyes.
Yes. Okay. So, next up, we went through the concept art and
Yeah.
future plans. Oh, what's this?
Okay, that's Cody.
Oh, this is
Cody, that's
Cody.
the older
Did-
Cody.
did you- Did you send
Yes,
the folder with all the
Yeah, I did.
the
I
snowfall?
did.
Oh,
Okay, this is great. I love this.
This is
GIF.
card.
Good.
Yeah,
That
cards
was
apart.
concept up really early, way before Meteor
Is
Shower
this
too.
adult him?
Yes,
That's
this
adult
is
Cody.
him. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
him like at around like fucking 27, 28 years old, just partying up in Hollywood. Yeah.
I love his cold, by the way.
A lot of like the characters that will show up in Meteor Shower, even if you might think that that's kind of odd that he was there and now he's not, like kind of like Cody, is there because they will be for the sequel, and that's why Cody had to leave.
That's why Cody had to leave. He had to find
He had to be ready
himself
for the thing.
and get a glow up.
Yes.
I have another one of Cody, another like
Okay, let's see.
testy
Have
gym.
another one of Cody.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, is
Look,
it this one?
It's yes. Look at him. He's
Oh,
hot.
oh.
Come
Oh, yeah.
on.
That was because that was in like I want to say 2021, where we
Yeah,
were like
2021.
actually trying to do Snowfall.
Snowfall. Yes.
Yeah, so we
And
were in the middle of
yeah.
like trying to do the first one when Sky had the idea of making the sequel, and then this Meteor Shower. Now they're kids. Now Cody's
I think
gone.
I do think it was because you and I were having writer's block at that part with Lori and Taylor, right? And we were like, I don't know how we're gonna close this out. So we're like, do you wanna practice? It's Otome Jam. You know, we can
Oh yeah,
figure
But
out
it-
their
but
dynamics as
that
kids.
art, yeah, but that art was there because we were already like trying to
Yeah, we
build
were already
the
trying
game,
to
right?
yeah. We were already trying to build Snowfall at this point, and there was supposed to be a gala scene with
So-
Lori and Cody and
Yeah.
like
with all the other love interests too, frankly. So
yeah, I
it's
have
a lot.
of them.
Oh,
yeah.
there's gonna be more?
Yeah, so there's like how many chapters? How many days was that? I think there were like I have like 5 chapters worth of Snowfall content in my drive that is now
Yeah.
outdated. Is antiquated.
I think it's a good start though. Like I think we can still use a lot of it in a sense that not exactly, but we can use it as a basis for the new one.
I don't want to
Yeah.
look at it anymore.
You don't want to
Okay,
look at
okay.
it. Okay.
I don't want to look at it anymore. I have way too many
Wait.
chapters.
We have adult Taylor? Wait.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
the Taylor one.
That's a
So
Taylor
this
one.
I really love
these are a lot of
this.
like mood boards. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they
mood
do.
boards essentially.
I still
I
like
get what
the-
you mean.
I still
when
like
you
the
say
Cody
vibe.
one.
Yeah, right? You get what you mean when you say vibes, right?
I'm sorry, Cody beats Taylor.
Cody beats Taylor. I'm sorry. Like, listen, okay, if you ask me, right, I'm the kind of person whenever I like write an Otome game, like I decide on love interests. I always have one favorite for myself personally, and that's Cody. But that favorite for myself is separate from who I ship with the main character. And I
That's for
ship
me.
Lori and Taylor.
Mhm.
Cody's for me, Sky, the writer. Yes.
Cody is for me. He is fan service for me. He's mine.
There's some violence.
I turned
Who
fear
are
all
you?
over Cody.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I turned into the dinosaur. Alright.
When you have the power, why not abuse it, right?
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. You gotta write what you want to read.
It really is.
Oh wait, adult Reese.
Yeah, this one's.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so dramatic.
He's really dramatic. Jinn would know.
I think he's
Sure.
gotten more dramatic as an adult.
Yeah.
He likes to say, I think he likes to think not, but he has. Don't get me started with that, boy. Right now.
Don't get me started with that.
Not
part
yet,
right now.
not yet. There will be art, and then I will say my piece. But not now.
Okay.
He's just
Okay.
driving away.
Somewhere.
I drive fast so I can feel something.
Is that from a song? Is that
Yeah,
from
all
a
of these
song?
are from a song. Yeah,
Oh,
all
what
of
song
these are
is that
song
from?
lyrics.
What
Yeah.
song is that?
I'm pretty sure it's
What
from
is it?
Drive
Drive.
by Pale Waves, I think. It was it Drive?
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll listen.
Okay,
What's the
so on
next
to
one?
the
Oh,
next
Oh, that's the one.
Here we go. Here's Scope Cafe.
Okay, now Jin can
Okay,
talk.
now we
Oh wait,
have.
no, this is
no,
this
that's
is
the totes. It's the totes.
Oh,
this
that's
is different.
cute.
Oh,
That's
these
the
are
one
the
that-
tote bags.
Oh
Yeah, we love
we
this.
How-
yeah, I made a gift for Jin and Pyr. Like I drew
Oh.
tote bag designs. So yeah, that's me.
Oh,
with
those
the
two
tote
very
bag.
nice
Yeah.
bags.
So we
Yeah,
it's tote bags and our
that's Pyr.
body.
Yeah.
Yadi,
That's
yadi.
me. Those are my eyes
and his arm
and my arm.
and the arm.
And then the next one is Jin. So yeah, we have matching tote bags, Meteor Shower. Yeah.
I love them. Especially
for
it's
sale,
because it's that one
unfortunately.
scene where he gives her a piggyback ride up the stairs.
Yeah, that
Oh
was funny.
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
that
scene was
happened.
funny.
That happened. Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
one scene that I starkly remember that derailed an entire chapter.
It did. I'm glad it did because I was like, no, we need this. This is stuff for the girlies. The girlies are gonna love this. Yeah, the new update PNG. Yeah, that's the one.
Yes.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
the different
cool.
color one.
Yeah, this is what you're going to expect for the next update, Meteor Shower, the Sounds of Summer update instead of the Homecoming update.
Oh, I
Because
do love it. The color is
Yeah.
very summery.
Brat Summer.
It's subtly not inspired by Brat Summer by
This
Charlie
was,
XCX.
was it just before Brat Summer?
No, I made it. I made this just now, like before, before the podcast. The last one was purple. The Homecoming
It
one was
was.
purple.
Purple.
I made-
looking.
Yeah, I made this one the Sounds of Summer update like green because yeah, we plan to set the. It's not gonna start immediately during summer. It's gonna be the lead into the summer, but like yeah, and we are considering starting it off with Taylor's POV. You had a question about that earlier, right? Like we floated
Yeah.
the idea of Taylor's POV. We're actually gonna do it. Like that's how the next update is gonna start. I know that's not
Oh,
exactly what we planned in the beginning, but it's vibes. Like I said,
It's vibe. She thought of it. We're doing it. It's vibes.
So it's the update itself is gonna start from his POV. That's cool. That's
We
interesting.
just get one chapter in his POV, then we go back to Lori, pretty much. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great to write it in his POV? I don't want to do that.
The entire.
I don't want to write from Tori. I don't want to write from Lori's POV.
Like, I don't think we should change the main character.
I don't. Damn, POV. He's whining. I don't want.
I don't want.
Oh.
Something else.
There.
See, Maury, you can clearly see this is like how people who've known each other for 12 years talk. Like,
Yes, I know. I've had some experiences. Okay, so I think that's all from the exclusive content, right?
yeah, we had some videos, but I don't think you can play it. So
Yeah, I don't think
yeah.
I can add it to the video.
You can add it to
For
the
YouTube.
video. Oh, but we
Yep.
do have the concept of Snowfall. The Snowfall concept.
Where is it? Where is
The
it? hiding?
MP4. That one. That one's
Ah, this one.
specifically-
You have a video for it?
Yeah, we do have Snowfall's proof of concept. This is the very first.
Oh,
Yeah.
icky. Take a bath.
Take a back.
Take a bad trailer. Oh my god. So this is actually where everything started. This is the first proof of concept that we had of these characters as a whole. This is originally what Snowfall was supposed to be, and then we created the prequel to it. We're still gonna work on this, but after Meteor Shower is done.
And
Yeah.
then we have. I'm gonna project that there's gonna be like a bunch of other projects.
This is like a hype up teaser for what's coming next with these characters.
Exactly.
It very much is.
Exactly like that anymore, but like just treat it as a proof of concept. Like that's what's
Yeah.
gonna happen in the future. Yes.
Okay, I think that's actually all now. And before we wrap up, what do you want to say directly to our listeners and your fans?
I just want to say maybe thank you for like
Maybe.
No, I do want
Probably
to.
take.
Maybe.
because
Non-committal.
I have been thinking about it, and yes, no, I do want to say thank you because, like, I mean, not just to the people that are listening, to possible fans that are listening, but to also my teammates Skai and Jinn, because I guess it's the fact that to be included in this world and to experience people indulging in the world is kind of it's fun. It's just fun to like be part of it. And thank you for like getting an opinion or telling us your experiences of the game. It makes us validated to be artists, creators, writers. Yeah.
I do appreciate everyone who gave it a read and who enjoyed it. I wish that you continue to support us for the future of this project. We have a bunch in store, and we hope that you can come along for the journey because it has been a joy making this, and we would like to share the experience and all these characters with everyone else who just sort of enjoyed it. That's all.
Okay, and for me, I'm gonna say thank you, first of all, for like letting us indulge in our collective brain rot. This really has like brought us together like so much closer since we were like kids. And I mean, at this point, I'm never getting rid of Jinn and Pyr, and I love them, obviously. And honestly, I don't really want to work with anybody else in the future. And I'm really glad that there were people who gave our work a chance. They gave it a shot. They read it. They took the time to actually let us know their opinion. And just like the amount of feedback that we got, me personally, I love it when I made people laugh. Personally, I really like making people laugh. So whenever people said it was funny, whenever people said that they recognized the reference, like music-wise, somebody in the comments talked about Mayday Parade, I'm just like, oh yeah, that's a real one. You know what I mean? Like, I just love to see people with similar interests come together and kind of get the vibe. Because again, it's all about the vibes with me. And, I just want to keep doing this. I want to keep doing this for future projects, and I want whatever we put out, hopefully would resonate with somebody. I started out loving visual novels as a medium when I was, I think, 13, 14, and I found this really, really long visual novel, low budget visual novels in the past where the art was just kind of okay, where the backgrounds were stock images, and somebody was just really, really passionate enough to write a story that they wanted to tell, and it was really long, and it was really complicated, and you got really, really into it, and I missed that. And that's why Meteor Shower is 90,000 long.
Do you miss these images? Because we can go back. Do you also miss?
I don't miss the stock images, actually. I would rather draw everything.
Would you like a stock cafe image? Because we can do that. If you wouldn't mind.
I love this stock image.
It's actually a great vibe. Like if you're intentional with it, it can work actually. But like, yeah, I love that stuff, and like, I want to be able to. This is what I have to say. Bring long visual novels back. Like, I don't know, this is like a symptom of capitalism, right? Like everything just starts feeling kind of gentrified, and I kind of want to feel like it's less homogenous in this space. Like I hear a lot of people talk about marketing, and like what gets popular and what doesn't. That's good. It's important for success. But at the end of the day, I do miss it when people just kind of took risks, wrote really long shit, wrote about their brain rot, did whatever, and I think I'm gonna keep doing that.
I wanted to thank you all for joining us today. Had great fun. I hope you did as well. And thank you for writing this story. It was quite fun to play through the entire game, honestly. It flowed amazingly.
We're so glad that taken it by the atmosphere. It was really such a huge compliment that you like played through the entire game. You stayed up all night to play it. That's awesome.
So, to our fans, if you enjoyed today's episode, go check out Meteor Shower, leave a review, maybe drop a comment. It really helps the small team. And huge thanks to God's Radio Dev for joining us today. It was an absolute pleasure to have you on this show. Thanks for listening, and keep your best narrative. Until next time.